Hi everybody. I've been thinking about that 2012 thing because it's really funny as I never believed it. I always knew it was statistically impossible. Forget all the other stuff to do with expansion of consciousness and the end of the world that Hollywood had peddled. The reality is that the Mayan long count calendar, no one really knows when it started, and you cannot sync it with the Gregorian calendar because the Gregorian calendar is completely broken and defective. It's probably the most incompetent calendar humans ever devised. So the whole thing, it doesn't matter if people think it's the end of this year, the beginning of next year, it's all wrong anyway. And the reason why the whole 2012 movement is embraced is because it's one more panacea against spiritual cowardice. People will go to an extraordinary lengths not to actually work on themselves in a consciousness sense and in a spiritual sense and even in a psychological sense. So they're always looking for the next panacea to relieve them from the absolute necessity for all of us to work on ourselves as individuals. You can see that in the whole Occupy Wall Street movement at the moment. That's just one way of projecting your shadow onto somebody else, so you don't actually have to deal with yourself and the shortcomings within your own life in order to grow as an individual. Now, as you know from all my other videos or from my books, I'm a firm believer that the spiritual path is an individual one and it's a solitary journey. And it's not a journey with a destination, it's a journey that has no beginning and no end, and it's the experience of the journey that brings you closer to self-realization, which is what you know, Hindus might call God consciousness. You have to understand that everything you need is already in you. It's just arranged in a way that may not be suiting you right now. In the same way, there's no such thing as the Big Bang. That's all rubbish. The universe has always existed. It's just existed in different forms, and it has been realized through things like consciousness. So it's very important for people to know that the things like 2012 is just one more excuse, like religious rights or like a fear of a fear of sort of catastrophe, be it environmental or a comet or something. It's one more thing to stop you from working on yourself, and people fall into these traps every time. The UFOs are not coming to save you. The aliens don't care about you. The only one that cares about you should be yourself, and that's the path to self-realization. Now, it's a journey, it's not a destination, so there are no answers. So people who go through life saying, I'm trying to find the answer. You're looking for, you're looking for something that doesn't exist. The beauty and the thing you should cherish most is the journey and the mistakes you've made along the way. It doesn't matter if you believed in this rubbish for a while. It's part of the experience. Now it's how you process that experience via your own life, and this is manifested into your world through things like synchronicity. And when you're taking notice, that's when you're evolving, and it's very important to take notice of synchronicities. Then you're getting signals from the universe then that you're on the right path, and this is where you should be heading. At the moment, it could change at another point in your life. Now, you can have a shift in consciousness for lots of reasons, through the death of a loved one, through the end of a very difficult relationship, or going through a difficult relationship. A serious illness is a very common one for people. And this is how we gain experience, this is how we gain self-realization, and this is how we attain what they would say in the Vedas as God consciousness. Now, it's not a religious thing as much as it's sort of it's basically a fundamental law of the universe that's encapsulated within our own physiology, our psychology, and our emotions, and it's all the same thing ultimately at the end of the day. This is why I'm a firm believer that, like, there's no absolute right and there's no absolute wrong. There just absolutely is. And what absolutely is the eternal relativity of all the cosmos. So, if you fell for the 2012 thing, don't blame yourself. Just say it was one more, happy accident that's brought me along a path towards self-realization. Think of falling for the 2012 scam in the same way you went through a bad relationship. It's what you learn in the aftermath that's what really matters. So 2012 is just it's a form of spiritual cowardice that stops people from working on themselves. So thank you very much.